When we were little girls and we would sit around talking with our girlfriends, dreaming about what our future would look like, we would dream big. And we had high hopes for our future. And not once did we ever say to one another, "Oh, I hope that when I'm in my late 30s or early 40s that I'm still single." That just wasn't the case. Each one of us has always wanted to be in the relationship of our dreams with a man who loves us to pieces. So as we got older, we went in pursuit of that. And we dated guys, and it didn't work out. We failed. We had our hearts broken. We mourned over it for a little bit. We dated somebody else, failed, and the cycle began. And we went through that cycle over and over and over again. And the next thing you know, we're on the dating hamster wheel, most of the time without even realizing it. And somewhere in the middle of all that, we actually give up on relationship in our hearts. And the way that that comes out in the things that we say is, we hear it all the time. In fact, I've said a lot of these things myself. We'll say things like, there are just no good men out there. Or, I love this guy, but if I could just change this about him. Or, he's not that great, but he'll do for right now. We start saying things like that. And if I would even take things a step further with my cynicism, and I would actually start a relationship wondering exactly how it was going to end. I had no hope of ever succeeding in a relationship. A couple days before Christmas, I actually had a nasty breakup. And I was so defeated that it had me take stock of all the things that I had done in past relationships. And I was able to see that not only were the things that I was doing in relationships, they just weren't working, but they were also creating the failure that I had been experiencing over and over and over again. Throughout the course of my life, wonderful women with wildly successful relationships with men who love them to pieces would give me advice. And I was so dead set on doing things my own way that I would just toss their advice aside and carry on. And the next thing you know, I'm in my late 30s and I'm scratching my head wondering, how did I get here? And that's when I actually started taking their advice. When I started actually taking their advice, things actually started to turn around for me. Not just in my dating relationships, but in all of my relationships with my girlfriends, my relationships with my family. And it brought back fun and joy and passion that I hadn't experienced for a long, long time, because in so many ways I had just given up thinking that that relationship of my dreams was not possible. All of a sudden, I could actually see that not only was that relationship possible, but the choices that I make now will impact that. So what I've done is I've taken 20 of the principles that I've applied, and I'm still using these principles. And that's what prompted me to write this book, because it's made such a difference for me that I wanted to share it with everybody. And these principles aren't hard. They're not complicated. They're remarkably simple, and they're just different. It's just doing things in a way that I had never done them before. Now, I'm not promising you a boyfriend. What I am promising is that if you buy this book and you apply these principles to your life, that you will see that the relationship of your dreams with a man who loves you to pieces is possible. And in that moment, you will be a new person.